Good day, and today we're going to look at reform in American society around the dates of about 1790 to 1860. This is just an introduction into some of the reform that we are going to see starting to take hold before the American Civil War. We're going to start by looking at a couple of the reformers, a couple biographies for you, starting with Angelina Grimke. Born in the South to a prominent slaveholding family, Angelina Grimke moved to the North to distance herself from an institution that she hated. When she discovered that Northerners were no more sympathetic about the plight of slaves than Southerners, and would not give abolition a free hearing, she chose to do something about it. She toured the Northeast, speaking first to groups of women and then to large mixed audiences. She capped her tour by becoming the first woman to address the Massachusetts state legislature. Her courage won new respect, both for abolitionists and for women. After that, now you can see Elizabeth Cady Stanton with her sons in 1848. Stanton, one of the organizers of the Seneca Falls Women's Rights Convention, soon after Angelina Grimke will travel widely, and she's going to agitate not just for abolition, but more so for women's equality. And Elizabeth Cady Stanton does so while raising 5 children. Here we also have Margaret Fuller. Disappointed that his first child was a girl, Margaret Fuller's father decided to educate her as if she were a boy. As a child, she wrecked her health studying Latin, English, and French classics. She also joined Ralph Waldo Emerson's circle of transcendentalists. In 1846, Horace Greeley sent her to Europe as the Tribune's foreign correspondent. There she would meet artists and writers, observe the revolutions of 1848, and married an Italian nobleman. On her return to America in 1850, Margaret Fuller, her husband, and infant son died in a shipwreck off of Long Island. Now, we also had to talk about reform when it comes to actual communities in North America, and in particular the United States. For example, here we have in 1845 a Shaker village at Alfred, Maine. This map shows the layout of a Shaker village. The Shakers, the largest of the communal utopian experiments, would reach their peak between 1820 and 1860. We're also going to talk about the beginnings of the temperance reform as well. Here we have a picture and a pledge of temperance by a husband. Now it's hard to read with the way that people wrote back in the 19th century, but here we have pressured by his determined wife and pleading child, a reluctant tippler, a reluctant drinker, is about to submit to a moral suasion and signed a pledge to abstain from alcohol. Now, the temperance movement is not going to gain a lot of steam or a lot of pressure until well after the American Civil War and well into the 20th century in the United States. But it does have its foundations during this reform time. And of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about slavery in the United States from 1790 to 1860. And here we have a theater poster of Uncle Tom's Cabin. With its vivid words of pictures of slavery, Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin translated well to the stage. Stowe herself was among the many who wrote dramatizations of the novel. Scenes of Eliza crossing the ice of the Ohio River with bloodhounds in pursuit, and the evil Simon Legree whipping Uncle Tom outraged Northern audiences and turned many against slavery. Southerners at the time would also damn Mrs. Stowe as, quote, a vile wretch in petticoats. Now, Harriet Beecher Stowe's novel Uncle Tom's Cabin was historic for a number of reasons. Not only did it help to fire up Northern anti-slavery sentiments, but it was also the first American novel that featured African-American characters in prominent roles. It was issued in various editions with many different covers, but most of them featured the lead character, Uncle Tom, another first in American publishing. Now, this particular cover from an early young folks edition of the book depicts the stooped old man with his young, sympathetic white mistress. Thank you so much for stopping by for this quick look at reform in American society from 1790 to 1860. If you'd like me to cover these subjects separately or you'd like to learn more, leave a comment down below. Let me know what else I can cover. And as always, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. Take care.